Why You Must Listen. Arthur, a diligent tea enthusiast from Bristol, harbored a secret ambition to master English beyond textbooks. His grammar was sound, his vocabulary growing, yet true fluency eluded him like a phantom. He often wondered why you must listen seemed an abstract concept when speaking felt like wrestling a grumpy badger. The sounds, the rhythm, they just didn't click naturally for him. He'd spent countless hours poring over American sitcoms, but a friend, a linguist named Beatrice, suggested a different path. "Let's talk in British English, Arthur," she'd advised, with a mischievous twinkle in her eye. "It's not just about the accent, it's the subtle nuances, the polite inflections, the way we string sentences together. It offers a unique gateway." Beatrice explained, "Improving your fluency isn't about speed, but about seamless flow. It's about not translating in your head, but thinking directly in English. This is where active listening becomes truly paramount. It's not just hearing words, it's absorbing the very fabric of the language." Arthur nodded slowly, intrigued by her passionate explanation. "The core," she continued, "is to listen and practice, relentlessly. Find podcasts, audiobooks, anything authentic. Don't just let it wash over you, actively engage with the sounds. Mimic the intonation, repeat phrases, even if you feel silly doing so. Consistency is your steadfast ally here." Arthur began his new regimen. Every morning, with his Earl Grey, he would listen English to various BBC programs. He started with familiar topics, then gradually branched out. The sheer volume of spoken English initially overwhelmed him, but he persisted, trusting Beatrice's sagely advice. He even tried to decipher regional accents. He quickly realized that passive listening wasn't enough. The next hurdle was how to talk with anyone. His mouth felt like a foreign object, his tongue a reluctant apprentice. He dreaded initiating conversations, fearing mispronunciations or awkward silences. The thought alone would make his palms clammy and his heart race. Beatrice then introduced the concept of how to think and speak. "Your internal monologue must shift," she urged. "Narrate your day in English. Describe objects around you. Don't translate from your native tongue, create thoughts directly in English. This rewires your brain, paving the way for spontaneity." This mental exercise was challenging, yet transformative. Arthur felt his cognitive gears grinding, then slowly, smoothly, engaging. He understood how to learn English was less about rote memorization and more about holistic immersion. It was about creating an English bubble around himself, a linguistic sanctuary. But what about vocabulary, he worried. How to remember words effectively? Beatrice suggested linking new words to images, stories, or even sounds. She emphasized using them immediately in sentences, integrating them into his thought process. Repetition in context, not just lists, was key to retention. Finally, she stressed how to improve your listening skills further. Distinguish between active and passive listening. Actively predict what's coming next, identify keywords, and infer meaning from context. Don't be afraid to ask for clarification, or to confirm your understanding. It's a two-way street. Arthur's routine transformed. His morning still began with Earl Grey, but now accompanied by spirited debates on BBC Radio 4, followed by shadow-speaking exercises where he mimicked speakers. He would even hum the intonation patterns, trying to internalize the rhythm. His flat echoed with British accents. He started small, engaging with his local shopkeeper about the weather, a quintessential British topic. The initial stuttering gradually subsided. He found himself thinking, right, how would a true Brit phrase this, before speaking? It was a conscious effort, yet increasingly natural. The fear of making mistakes, once a colossal barrier, began to shrink. He understood that errors were merely stepping stones, not stumbling blocks. Each misstep provided an opportunity for learning, a chance to refine his linguistic precision. His confidence slowly, yet steadily, bloomed. He tuned into the very soundscape of English, noticing the subtle differences between received pronunciation and regional dialects. It was like discovering a hidden symphony within everyday conversations. The phonetics, once a bewildering maze, started to make logical sense. Arthur even began to imagine full conversations in his head, rehearsing difficult topics or tricky phrasing before encountering them in real life. This mental rehearsal was incredibly powerful for building quick recall and fluidity. It was like a private, personal language lab. He started attending local pub quizzes, primarily to listen, but occasionally offering a hesitant answer. The convivial atmosphere, the rapid-fire banter, and the colorful colloquialisms proved invaluable for his immersion. It was learning disguised as socializing, a perfect blend. One evening, while explaining a complex idea about local history to a tourist, he suddenly realized he wasn't translating. The words simply flowed, articulated with a newfound clarity and even a touch of local flair. It was an exhilarating moment of breakthrough. He even began to grasp British humor, the dry wit, the sarcasm, the understated jokes that had previously flown right over his head. This newfound understanding enriched his cultural experience immensely. Laughter became a new language of connection for him. Remembering words no longer felt like a chore. When he encountered a new idiom, he'd jot it down, then actively seek out its usage in other contexts, solidifying its meaning. He linked new vocabulary to experiences, making them stick. He used active recall techniques, testing himself on new phrases by trying to incorporate them into daily sentences. Flashcards, once boring, became dynamic tools for reinforcing connections between words and concepts. His mental lexicon expanded daily. Arthur discovered the power of telling short stories in English, even just to himself, or to his patient cat. This practice forced him to retrieve words under pressure and string them into coherent narratives, improving his overall verbal agility significantly. His engagement with British media deepened. He moved from simply listening to actively analyzing the dialogue in dramas and comedies. He paused, replayed, and dissected conversations, understanding not just what was said, but how it was conveyed. Soon, he found himself effortlessly navigating social gatherings, contributing to discussions, and even initiating banter. The clunky, hesitant speaker had transformed into a confident, articulate conversationalist. His genuine enthusiasm was truly infectious. He noticed the subtle charm of British English, the polite expressions, the nuanced ways of disagreeing without being confrontational. These social lubricants were something he had actively sought to embody. It felt authentic, part of his new identity. Thinking in English became second nature. The internal translator, once overworked, was now largely unemployed. Thoughts formed directly in the language, streamlined and intuitive. It was like upgrading his internal operating system to a higher version. His improved speaking skills, surprisingly, also enhanced his listening. Because he could anticipate grammatical structures and common phrases, he could process incoming information faster and more accurately. It was a virtuous feedback loop. True fluency, he realized, wasn't about sounding like a native speaker, but about being able to express complex ideas clearly and spontaneously, without hesitation. It was about connection, not perfection. He felt incredibly liberated. Beatrice, witnessing his transformation, beamed with pride. "You see, Arthur," she said, "it was never just about grammar. It was about immersing your entire being in the language, embracing its culture, its very soul." Arthur now passionately advocated for the mantra, "Why you must listen." He understood that listening was the bedrock, the foundational skill upon which all other linguistic abilities were built and nurtured. It was the key to unlocking the language. He reveled in the nuances of British English, from Q to Lou, from bits and bobs to taking the mickey. Each phrase was a tiny window into the national psyche, a delightful linguistic discovery. It brought him immense joy. His journey was far from over. He knew that, how to improve your fluency, was a continuous process, a lifelong pursuit of refinement and deeper understanding. There was always more to learn, more accents to decode, more idioms to master. The daily listen and practice routine no longer felt like a chore but a genuine pleasure. He looked forward to discovering new podcasts, engaging with different accents, and pushing his linguistic boundaries further. Learning became an adventure. He emphasized to others the critical importance of simply listen English consistently, even passively at first, just to get accustomed to the sounds and rhythms. This sustained exposure was the quiet engine of progress, he realized. He could now confidently approach strangers, knowing how to talk with anyone was simply about being curious and present, rather than perfect. His conversations flowed naturally, often leading to unexpected and enriching encounters. The shift to how to think and speak in English had been the most profound change. It allowed him to engage with complex topics on the fly, without the mental lag of translation. His brain felt lighter, more efficient. Arthur truly understood how to learn English was not a linear path but a complex, interconnected web of skills. Each aspect reinforced the other, creating a stronger, more resilient linguistic foundation for him to build upon. His ability to how to remember words improved exponentially by integrating them into his active speech and thought patterns. Words were no longer isolated facts but living components of his communication, easily accessible and deployable. He even started implementing more advanced, how to improve your listening skills strategies, such as listening for implied meanings, identifying speaker intent, and discerning subtle emotional cues within spoken dialogue. It was an art. Arthur, once the hesitant learner, now found himself becoming a resource for others struggling with English. He shared his journey, his techniques, and his enduring belief in the power of diligent, immersive practice. He became an inspiration. His own accent, while still distinctly Bristolian, had softened, becoming clearer and more articulate. He wasn't aiming for a perfect received pronunciation, but rather clear communication infused with his unique regional charm. He felt more connected to the local culture, understanding inside jokes and historical references that had once been alien. Learning the language truly unlocked the door to deeper cultural integration and appreciation for him. Arthur looked back at his initial struggles with fondness. Each challenge had been a necessary part of his growth, a testament to his perseverance. He embraced the journey, acknowledging every small victory along the way. His story was a powerful testament to what consistent dedication and the right approach could achieve. It wasn't about natural talent, but about strategic effort and unwavering commitment to his linguistic goals. He learned that language was much more than just words and grammar. It was about connecting with people, understanding different perspectives, and experiencing the world through a new lens. It was truly transformative. Arthur wasn't just a British English speaker, he was a confident communicator, a keen listener, and someone who genuinely enjoyed the intricacies of language. He had forged a new, more articulate version of himself. When asked for advice, he would always begin, "Why you must listen is the starting point. It's the foundation for everything else." He'd share anecdotes about his own early days, stressing its profound importance. He'd gently encourage others to "let's talk in British English," not because it was superior, but because it offered a rich, nuanced perspective and a wealth of authentic resources for immersion. It was his chosen path. For how to improve your fluency, he'd advise breaking down conversations, focusing on phrases rather than individual words, and embracing imperfect yet continuous speech. "Just keep talking," he'd say, "even if it's a bit wobbly." The listen and practice loop became his golden rule, a perpetual cycle of input and output that continually refined his skills. It was the rhythm of his language learning, a natural, flowing process. He often told people to listen English everywhere, in every situation, turning mundane moments into learning opportunities. The bus ride, the supermarket queue, all became immersive linguistic classrooms for him. His advice for how to talk with anyone centered on genuine curiosity and the understanding that most people appreciate effort. "Don't fear the silence," he'd say, "embrace the chance to learn." How to think and speak was the advanced stage, a brain training exercise he believed was crucial for true spontaneity. It unlocked the rapid-fire responses native speakers exhibited, he observed. He simplified how to learn English for others, emphasizing enjoyment and consistency over rigid rules. "Make it fun, make it frequent," he'd advise, drawing from his own successful experience. For how to remember words, he advocated for immediate application and contextual learning. Use it or lose it became his mantra, ensuring new vocabulary found a home in his active lexicon. Finally, on how to improve your listening skills, he stressed patience and persistent effort. It's like building a muscle, he'd explain, the more you train it, the stronger your comprehension becomes. Arthur's story resonates, a testament to transformation. His journey from hesitant speaker to confident conversationalist underscores the power of focused listening and consistent practice in mastering British English. The enduring lesson: listening isn't just a passive activity, it's the active engine driving fluency, unlocking confidence, and making the entire learning process both effective and profoundly enjoyable. Arthur, the Bristol tea enthusiast, proved that anyone, with the right strategies and unwavering dedication, can truly master the art of thinking, speaking, and connecting in a new language. His legacy inspires.